Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Mo, and we are here today to take a look at patch 1.3 for Rainbow Six Siege. Now, the patch is finally live on all platforms as well as in all regions. It's kind of why I waited to talk about it, to see it actually drop on the Xbox One so I could check it out for myself. So first we're going to talk about some of the patch notes, the most important stuff that was changed, and then I'll kind of give you guys my impressions, my thoughts as to whether any of these significant patches have actually made an impact to our online play inside of Siege. So I got a nice little sort of reduced element of the patch notes here. If you guys want to check out the full patch notes, I will have them linked down in the description below. As you can see, these are the patches that are now live for both PC and consoles as of January 13th. The biggest one, the biggest thing that so many people over on the subreddit and the rest of the community have been complaining about has been the 30 hertz or 30 times per second tick rate, which has finally been increased not just for PC users but also for console users to 60 times per second or 60 hertz. Now, let me explain briefly what this is for those of you who don't understand what it is and why it's important that it is now at 60 hertz or 60 times per second. The tick rate is the amount of times that the server communicates with the player, basically helping update the positioning of your place in the battlefield as well as the place of other players. You know that really irritating moment in Siege that you had sometime during the first couple months of the game where some dude peeked around a corner and whacked you before you even saw him peek around the corner, but on the kill cam he was clearly there? Yeah, that was probably because of the low tick rate. Now, most competitive shooters have a tick rate of 50 or higher. Counter-Strike competitive is actually played at 128. That number, as I said, is the amount of times per second that the server will update with the consumer's platform, with you, the console player, or the PC player in this instance. So more is always better. Now, I'm not one of those people who just endlessly blamed the 30 hertz tick rate for all of my problems in Rainbow Six Siege. To be honest, there's so many great moments that I've had with Siege. It was something that I was able to look over, even though admittedly there were moments where it just kind of happened. At the end of the day, Siege is still very much a game that asks the player to be very methodical and to think out every single one of their movements, 10 to 12 steps ahead of time, to make sure that you never catch yourself in a sort of quick shootout situation like you would in, I don't know, Battlefield or Call of Duty even. You're not really going to recover from that. You always want to try and get the jump on the opponent and have the element of surprise. But that doesn't mean that I'm not happy about the improved tick rate. The higher the number, the better, and the higher that they can support it for their servers, just the better it's going to be for everyone. So I'm very, very happy about the 60 hertz tick rate, and we'll talk a little bit after done with the patch notes as to whether or not that's actually made a change to the gameplay experience for Rainbow Six Siege Online here on the Xbox One, as that is the footage that you are seeing. Now let's talk about a couple other elements in the patch notes that I thought were worth mentioning. They're putting a bigger emphasis on improving their anti-cheating measurements. So you can see that we've got just basic improvements. They've updated the banning policy. All cheaters detected by the system will now be banned permanently. No more 3-day ban for first offense. They're going hardcore on this. They're going Bungie on this. They're going Valve on this. Like, if you cheat, that's it. It's game over for you. Don't do it. It's like drinking and driving. Just don't do it. You don't get a second chance. You don't deserve a second chance. Don't cheat. Last and definitely not least, we've got a few exploit fixes. Defenders exiting the preparation phase. This was a big thing, right? It added configuration that allows them to turn on insta-kill for any defenders that go outside their zone during the preparation phase. They've stated that this behavior should not be possible, but if exploits are found, the guilty shall be punished by a swift death. This isn't just the idea of going outside of it and engaging targets. This is the idea that people were actually using glitches and stuff to stay outside of the zone during the preparation phase for extended periods of time and then killing people in their spawns. Obviously, that's not cool. That's definitely abuse of the game. It's nice to see them testing a system. The system isn't been fully implemented on the Xbox One. They're going to be testing it on and off while people are playing the game, and if it's something that they find out works really well, they'll go ahead and actually turn it on. They can turn it on and off for the servers at any time, it seems, so that's awesome. It's not something that I've ran into heavily. Like, this isn't an issue I've seen. Maybe only in 1 or 2 matches out of the, like, several hundred that I've played at this point has this been an issue or a concern. But nonetheless, nice to see them taking care of it. It's something that isn't, you know, really difficult for them to do, so why not tackle it while they work on some of the more complicated stuff. Now, these are just the patch notes for January 13th. There is a lot of stuff coming to the console on the 20th that has already come to the PC. Again, if you're interested in checking out that full list, I strongly recommend you click the link down in the description below and give it a read for yourself. Basically, just a lot of community-raised bug fixes are going to be going into play. Things like people being able to glitch through the walls using barricades. A lot of things that people have noticed and pointed out that they are going to be taking care of. Now, they also do have a list of top priorities and known issues. This is probably the best place to get an idea as to whether or not that awful bug that you just cannot stand is being worked on. I will have that link down in the description below as well. Please go check that out. A lot of stuff in the works there. A lot of the loading screen issues that are causing people to have to back out of matchmaking. These are still some of the biggest concerns, and I did want to talk about this. I haven't ran into it that much, and it's not to the point where it's so irritating that I'm not going to play Siege. Honestly, I have so much fun with Siege on a nightly basis at this point that I'm okay with 1 or 2 matches, you know, probably every 20 matches where we have to back out or we have an issue. Now, it does seem they have a lot of specific instances where they know these issues are happening, so that's good. They've been able to boil down what's causing them happen, what's causing them to freeze up. The smoke background that we all see for the loading screen, they have a couple cases where it's happening. Obviously, if you are willing to go and report this type of situation, it's going to help them better clear it up and then patch it out. We won't have to deal with it anymore. Like I said, I think it happens probably 1 to maybe 2 times a night for us. It can be frustrating, and I think that's one of the things that they really need to work on, because it sucks when you're like really going really well. You've got a lot of great matches going on, especially in the instance where you're playing another team that is really evenly matched and you guys want to do a rematch. This is some of the situations where I've seen these freezes really happen. You know, so one person leaves, and then 2 people get stuck at the loading screen, the game never loads, and everyone has to quit out and you lose that match. That kind of stuff sucks, especially when you're playing casual, you're with a good group of people, you're having really tight matches. It's hard to find that kind of experience sometime in Siege. It feels like, especially when playing in a group, we're very much just always trashing the other team. Because so many people in casual aren't playing in groups, which is understandable. I guess that's the point of casual. But nonetheless, nice to know that they are paying attention to a lot of these issues. I think there may be some other problems kind of that they have to deal with. You know, there's obviously a lot of stuff with matchmaking still going on. They're still having problems no matter how many times they seem to have pushed out a patch for it. They're having issues, they're having concerns. But at the end of the day, for me, none of these issues are big enough to get me to stop playing Siege. Honestly, the tick rate was one that is just a nice, really, really awesome boost to the game's experience. I don't think any game should ever have a 30 hertz tick rate. Battlefield 4 had 30 hertz at launch. Terrible idea. Just if you have a shooter where you have to shoot other people, and that's kind of how you win or lose, it's important to have a high tick rate. I'm glad to see them make that change. To me, that was the biggest thing. So let's talk about that tick rate. Has it actually made a difference? I'm going to say yes. Number one, like I said, I wasn't one person to just put all of my blames and my issues and every single death on the tick rate. In fact, I'm somebody who has a very low death rate in Siege. It's just my playstyle awards a higher amount of kills and a lower amount of deaths because I'm patient, I'm methodical, which is the type of game that Siege is. I'm not trying to brag, I'm just saying that's how I've always focused it. But there's no doubt that when I'm in those situations where I get caught off guard or I'm trying to do some sort of a long-range awkward engagement and the person clearly has a jump on me, I can be much more effective at doing a sort of suppressive fire situation where I can peek out, fire off a burst, and then get back to cover without having to worry about some weird connection problem. You know, the lack of an update of that person's position causing me to be out in the open when I shouldn't be and then causing me to die. That is something that did happen every now and then. And after about 20 to 30 matches with the new improved tick rate, I can honestly say, as well as many members of my squad, that it's made an actual improvement, one that has made the experience just a little bit more enjoyable than it already was. So kudos to Ubisoft for getting that taken care of. It was a bit crazy it was ever 30 in the first place, but I'm happy at 60. Those of you guys who are out there complaining endlessly about the tick rate, you're gonna have to find another excuse for your suckage. You're gonna have to slow down your playstyle. This is most definitely not Call of Duty. This is not Halo. This is not Counter-Strike. This is Rainbow Six Siege. It is brutal. You die quick. Play with that in mind, and you will find yourself being much more successful. So guys, that is a look at patch 1.3. Once again, if you want to check out the full patch notes and everything that's going to be coming to the console on January 20th, as well as all of the stuff that is planned for future patches, be sure to go ahead and click those links down in the description below. Now, one last thing that I did want to mention, on February 2nd, Season 1 is going to be going live, which means new operators. I'm taking this as my opportunity to hop into my coverage of Rainbow Six Siege a little bit more in depth. We're going to be taking a look at all of the new operators. We're going to be talking about tips and tricks with the different operators, just kind of, picking out some of our favorite ones and covering them. And just as a whole, helping people get better with the new operators as they start to spend their credits. I believe the new operator is going to cost around 25,000 renown. So save up that renown, snag a couple of those new operators, and change your game. I'm actually really stoked about the idea of new operators coming to Siege. I think it's a cool idea that each season, we're going to get a set of new operators. We're going to get another map, all for free. And admittedly, a lot of this is happening because of those microtransactions for those weapon skins and for the stupid little boosts and stuff. If that's what it's going to be, if that means we get free DLC and free operators, I'm okay with that kind of crap. Doesn't bother me. I've even bought some of the weapon skins. Siege is a game that I've absolutely fallen in love with. And when I fall in love with the game, I'm more than happy to spend a little bit of extra money out of my wallet to make it go a bit further. If you guys have any thoughts regarding the patch, whether you're playing on PC or on the console, any of your own impressions or reviews regarding the improved tick rate, feel free to leave it down in the description below, and I will see you on the battlefield. Actually, that was really corny. I will see you on a fast rope.